Hey everybody, Pete Staples back with episode number 2 of Why is Nutrition So Effing Confusing? Let's take a look. In today's episode, we're going to look at the food industry and the food manufacturers. The reason why nutrition can be really confusing is because the food industry and the food manufacturers don't really want you to know too much information, or they like to kind of omit certain information, legalities depending, and also like to put up smoke and mirrors so it doesn't dent on their profit margins. They want to make money, that's their main purpose. Therefore, they'll put certain things in place to make sure that you keep buying certain foods and products. Let's take a look at how they actually do that. So these are the main things. Let's take a look at the first point. So sugar and salt is cheap and convenient. If they want things to taste nice, bang a load of sugar in, bang a load of salt in. It'll taste really good. Sugar and salt is generally a cheap commodity, and it actually helps preserve the shelf life of some foods. So if you think about that for a moment, if I put a lot of salt, an unhealthy amount of salt into a product, I can keep it on the shelf for longer. Therefore, me spending money on that product to make it, I'm going to lose less money and gain more money because the product keeps for longer. I'm not losing money, but it also holds for longer. Therefore, I'm probably going to gain more money because I'm more chance of it selling. If you think about bread and how long is the shelf life of bread nowadays? It's extremely long before it starts to go money. That's down to the cheap and convenient ingredients they put into that. Therefore, that enables them to sell in high volumes. You're going to produce a lot of this product. It generally holds a lot longer. I'm going to sell a lot more of it. Now, aside from things like bread, you can also look at things like unhealthy foods like chocolate and crisps. They are always in some sale period, and they like to sell it at high volumes. You know, they'll be buy one get one free, buy one get one half price, where you think you're getting a bargain, but you're not. The way to remember that the way these companies look at making money is they'd rather gain money. They don't really lose it. So if you buy an extra packet that's at half price now, they've gained, let's say it's normally a pound and you pay an extra 50p. They've gained an extra 50 pence off you. They've not lost 50 pence. It's impossible. They haven't lost 50 pence. They've gained it. So this is the way they like to sell in high volumes, and generally the foods that they do, put this kind of marketing on is the foods that are quite high in sugar, high in salt, high in fat, that generally aren't that good for us if we have them in high quantities. Now, we also like to pay for convenience, and this isn't really the fault of the food manufacturers or the food industry. It's our fault. I'm forever seeing a stupid image of healthy eating's really not cheap. Here's a pot of pineapple, it cost me £2, and here's this unhealthy food that cost me 50 pence. What people really glass over is you're paying for convenience. So the reason why that pot of fruit is so expensive is because you've paid for the food company to chop it up and put it into a nice pot for you. If you went away and actually bought a pineapple, it's significantly cheaper. And if you cut that up and chuck it in your own Tupperware tubs, you've saved a lot of money. So you're paying for convenience. Next time you go to the cheese aisle, look at a block of cheese. Let's say you get a 200 gram block of cheese. Look at the price of it. Go to the grated cheese section. Look at the 200 grams or thereabouts of grated cheese. The same weight is more expensive for the grated. You're paying for the convenience that they've grated it for you. So healthy eating isn't expensive. Paying for convenience really is expensive. This all boils down to the food manufacturers want to make your life easier because they're, on to the next thing. They keep telling you that you're too busy when you're really not. and they're then charging you for the convenience of saving you that time. So let's have a look at that fourth point. You're too busy. You're too busy to cook. You know, your job, you're too busy, so get these convenient snacks. It's a complete and utter lie. I work long hours. I'm very busy schedule, just like everyone else. However, I still make time and find time to cook wholesome foods. If you're having takeaways every other night because you're too busy, it's a complete lie. You need to have that real firm look at yourself and understand that you are not too busy to look after your health. You're not too busy to cook nice foods, healthier foods. They want you to believe that you're too busy, so you're more likely to click on, you know, these one click, get your takeaway ordered to your door, or you go into the supermarket. You don't need to prepare anything. Buy our convenience. We've made it convenient for you, because they've lied to you saying that you're too busy to do it any other way, when it's so far from the truth. All of this we need to be then aware of to make best decisions overall. Now, food labeling is a massive problem in our industry because there's a lot of smoke and mirrors. You know, generally they like to put on labels. So let's say I picked up a yogurt pot and it says 0% fat. Now that would be actually true. There's pretty much 0 to next to 0% fat in that product. However, the problem with the labeling, it then implies that it's healthier, and it might not be. And this is where the smoke and mirrors comes in. So all because a label says it's, in this case, 0% fat, doesn't mean that that product is healthy. I would guarantee that if it's got no fat, there's got a lot of sugar in, because the product still tastes nice. If it had no fat, no salt, no sugar, none of that, it's probably going to change the taste, and you probably won't buy it because of it. And you can see this in multiple labels. If it says low in sugar, well, what else is there in there if the taste hasn't changed? You need to ignore labels because they're going to imply or want to imply a certain thing, when in reality that food or drink may be nothing like it. What you need to get used to doing is ignoring the label, because they're going to misdirect, we'll say, to you buying it, and take a look at the ingredients list in the back. Real quick thing for you to do every time you pick up a food if you're not sure. This is one thing that you can do to maximize and make your choice as healthy as possible. When you look at the ingredients list, so turn the label around, look at the ingredients list. They have to list the ingredients by weight order. Legally, they have to. So therefore, whatever's the first ingredient on that list is majority. And as you work through the list, it then goes less and less and less. So the first ingredient is the most weighted in that product, and it moves down. And once you look at the first 3 ingredients in that list, is it what you expect? So an example of that might be, let's say I pick up a pizza and I turn it round. What would the first 3 ingredients I would expect to see from a pizza? I'd be expecting to see the bread dough base. I'd be expecting to see tomato puree, and I'd be expecting to see cheese. That would be what I'd expect from the first 3 ingredients. Let's say you pick a pizza label up and it's not got them. It's got oil and fat or sugar as one of them top 3. You know that that product is not as healthy as it could be, and you need to pop it down and look for another alternative. So the food industry, remember, aren't bothered about your health. They're looking at ways they're going to sell more. And in the process of that, whether it's right or wrong, it makes nutrition really confusing, because the mixed messages or the smoke and mirrors or the tactics that they apply to sell more. So the real question is how do we avoid the food industry making our food choices unhealthy? Now we're already partway there, because just being aware of it, so then points we looked at in the last slide, just being aware of it is really going to help. But there's also some other tricks and bits and pieces we can do, like checking labels, not just looking at the front, turning it around will make better choice. There's other things we can do, so let's take a look. First thing is a simple thing. Start prepping and cooking. You are not too busy. You're not. Stop lying to yourself. Be more efficient with your time. Stop watching as much crap TV, as much binge watching as people do, and start actually making time to prepare and cook. Now, the good thing about this is there's research out there that suggests, regardless of choice of food, if people are actually preparing and cooking it themselves, they generally consume less calories than if they buy convenience or order takeaways in. Let that settle in. The research out there suggests that if I prepared, let's say, fish and chips at home versus I ordered fish and chips in, it would be healthier because of the things that I'm controlling at home, the preparing and cooking, and I'd actually consume less calories overall from it. The second thing, when you're going into the supermarkets, stop buying these so-called bargains. They're not bargains. They're making more money off you. Buy one, get one half price. Have the larger pack because you're going to save 30 pence, when in fact they've gained another 20 pence out of you every time you do it. They're selling more of their rubbish product. They're not bargains. You're just buying more at a kind of quantity rate. You're not saving anything. You're spending more money for more product. So be aware of these bargains. Look around them. Don't take any more than you actually need. Write lists and stick to it. What foods do you need? How much do you need? Stay away from these bargains and go in there with a little bit of plan when you do your shopping. Stop buying convenience. I've already said, a block of cheese is cheaper than a pack of grated cheese for the same amount of weight. That happens right the way through supermarkets. If it's pre-done for you, if it's a little bit more convenient, you're going to pay for that, and generally it doesn't make it any healthier, and you actually end up spending more money. This buying convenience has totally led to people thinking that healthy eating is expensive when it's not. So stop buying convenience and go in there with a bit of plan. Now, overall, don't believe the lies. That also comes from yourself as well as these food industries, supermarkets and food manufacturers. You're not too busy. Healthy eating is not expensive. However, you will need to do a little bit of reading and a bit of research. Find out about what is in these foods actually. And compare foods. No foods are the same. If you go to the yogurt aisle, pick up some different yogurts, look at the back of them. Their ingredients list will look slightly different. The amount of quantities of fat, of protein and sugar is going to be different product by product. So, no, it's not easy. I'm not saying it is. However, it's definitely doable, and just lying to ourselves saying, oh, it is what it is, it's not. So go in there, look, read and upskill yourself. If you can't cook, learn. It is a really important skill and it will make you healthier. If you've got kids, if they're seeing you not cooking, guess what? As adults, as they grow, they're really not going to cook and they're really not going to be as healthy because of it. And you really need to ask yourself, are you role modeling a healthy standard for your kids to grow into? Because if you're not healthy, I can guarantee your kids won't be healthy. And do you want that for them? Now, you can make good choices for yourself and that will reflect onto your children as well. By you making yourself healthier, you will make your kids healthier. And part of that is looking at how food industries are, we'll just say, using you to make more money. And if you can do the things that are on the slide now, prepping and cooking, stop buying bargains, stop buying convenience and stop buying lies, you will make better choices in the long run. And nutrition won't be as confusing because you're a bit more aware of it and you're really reading into it. So that's episode 2 of why is nutrition so effing confusing is because the food industry, they want to make a good profit margin, even if that means confusing and muddying the water to make you buy more, and it's not always going to be in your best interest. But being aware of it and making better decisions and doing a little bit of reading, a bit of research, learning how to cook is definitely in your best interest. So get out there and do it. Hope you enjoyed episode 2. Look out for episode 3 coming shortly. Have a great day, stay active and stay healthy.